Hi, this is Ken Vella, live event host for Hot Wheels, Muscles and Mojo, Wheels and Waves Malibu, voted #1 in talk radio. Oh yeah. Right here, right now, you're listening to Every Car Has a Story with JoepeP and Dusty.
Hey, boy, that car.
What's wrong, officer?
Boy, you're in a heap of trouble. Violation of City Order 11-14, operating a racing type vehicle inside the city limits.
Oh, officer, this is the new Dodge Challenger RT. It's not a racer.
Ain't I? What kind of tires them, boy?
Optional polyglass GTs.
Racing tires. Them stripes, that boy, what you call those?
Racing stripes.
I suppose that's a reconverted lawnmower motor.
Optional 440 Magnum V8.
What's that doohickey in there, boy?
Well, that's a new optional slapstick racing shift. So look, it's got concealed wipers, and it's got dual headlights. And you don't find that on any racer, do you?
Careful, boy. I'll book you as a law officer.
If you can handle the way people react to your 1970 Dodge Challenger, you could be Dodge material.
Now, look, boy. I know a race car when I see one.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all the cool cats at sea. This is JoepeP, host of Every Car Has a Story, and with me today is my trusty sidekick, Dusty. Who knows? Let there be light. Who knows? You ready for this one? The inner workings of the 1951 Nash front seating system that folds into a bed.
Yeah, I remember those. Absolutely, yeah.
Can we say baby boomers?
They outlawed those. Yeah, you can't do that anymore. Nope. But I do remember the 70 Dodge Challenger.
Yes.
And I remember very, very, very well the Goodyear polyglass tires. Do you remember those, Joe?
Yes, I remember those.
Okay, those were Goodyears, and those were the state-of-the-art tires until Michelin came along about a year later with radial tires, and everything changed. The world changed after that. I remember the first time I put radial tires on my 70, I guess it was a 72 or 73 Firebird.
Yes.
And I felt like I was on the Indianapolis 500. The difference was so incredible. So from the past, great cars, technology moves on. And you take for granted these radial tires, they are incredible.
Well, it's, I was telling Nick, the producer, and yourself that, back in the day, that car went for around $3,000, $3,500.
Let's see, back in 68, and this is 70, you could buy a brand new Corvette for about $4,500. So that car had to be about, I'm thinking 31, 32 loaded.
Yep, that sounds good. And then now you're talking over $100,000.
Well, to redo one of those cars, and Chrysler wasn't known for having great steel. And so if you could find a Challenger with a good body and good frame, that means no rust, you could easily put 80, 90, 100 grand in redoing those cars. And that's why they're so expensive. They were incredible machines with great engines, but the bodywork was just kind of okay. I remember driving my Corvette in Mobile in 68, and a Challenger came by, and I think it was owned by an FBI guy. He introduced himself. And
I know this story. Yes, go ahead.
And the car was probably about a year and a half old, and the car was already starting to deteriorate. So back then, cars only lasted 5 or 6 years. They just didn't hold up.
Well, as a kid, the watching, television, the Chrysler ads were 5 years or 50,000 miles.
Oh, that's right.
And now you could easily do 50,000 miles in 1 year.
I don't know. People don't even change their oil till 50,000 miles.
Well, with the new oils,
I'm just kidding.
With all the new oil, take two.
Well, Joe, who's on today?
Well, I am so happy. It's like we got our new sponsor.
Oh, yeah,
Papa
we
Shine
do.
Wax.
We got the new sponsors. We'll talk about that. Papa Shine, we get into detail on those. We got new radio stations going to be carrying us, so listen to these. Going to be, FM 100.7 in Statesville, North Carolina. It's going to be picking us up.
Yeah,
and we're going to be on Hot Talk Radio down in Myrtle Beach, 99.5, and that one is the Hot Talk station
and then,
in Myrtle
of course,
Beach.
The mothership radio station,
our big station,
the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Absolutely, our
in Wilmington,
a wonderful producer.
Yes,
makes us all work.
Nick, a round of applause.
Yeah.
No sound effects. Okay.
Okay.
So We have Kayla in search of classic cars with Zen. We're going to be talking about her 1967 Pontiac Catalina.
Great car.
Then we got some great videos. So for our Facebook Live audience and for our YouTube audience, you can watch. As for our radio listeners, well, you're going to have to listen to a symphony of orchestrated greats from
There you go.
the Hal Holbrook Orchestra. Then we have Uncle Jesse. He'll be phoning in from Schwab's Pharmacy in Hollywood.
Yep.
And then, you ready for this?
No.
Well, you better be. Angela Babla from Angel's Garage, and it's basically her road to the new level of her TV show.
Oh, this is going to be exciting.
And this will be great, and it'll be seen and heard on NBC SN. So
Wow.
this is very exciting, and
Yes,
I'm so very happy because you know what, the United States is the land of opportunity.
Yes, it is.
But the thing is, you have to work your ass off. You know,
Yep.
no one's going to just knock on the door.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And
If the old
wait a
saying
minute,
is 99%.
someone's at the door.
Oh, is that right? Who's that?
It's opportunity. Hey,
Oh,
come
there
on
he is
in.
coming in. No, it's 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. There you go. Do we have time for a stump show?
Yes, we do. Yeah,
Okay, you
Kayla comes
ready?
on in 2 minutes. So
All
we'll be
right,
all set.
here we go. This is a toughie. This is one that I didn't even know. But here's the question. A famous dictator in Egypt, Abdul Nasser. You remember Abdul
Yes,
Nasser?
yeah, I knew him well. Used to play cards with him on Thursdays.
Okay. Did he or did he not develop the first Arab automobile? Yes or no?
Was it the Studebaker dictator? No.
Right. He used to
The
drive
first
like,
Arab automobile.
yeah.
Jeez,
It's just a yes or no.
No.
No, it's a no.
It's a
it.
no.
Everybody got that? It's a no.
thank
All
you.
right. Well, the answer is yes. He did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what
He
did
was trying to put all, he was trying to put all the Arab nations together, and he came up with a car. Wasn't much of a car. It's called a Frisky.
The Frisky.
Frisky was a little two-seater.
Wow.
And it kind of like an homogeneous golf cart and with a little gasoline engine. 75 of those are still rolling around, by the way.
Now,
George.
can you imagine? Here's a young man ready to pick up his girlfriend for prom.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you know how everything is. You got to meet the father, and you're nervous. And the father would say, Biff, what kind of car you have? Oh, sir, I got a Frisky. You're what? No, I don't think you can go out with my daughter now. Goodbye.
Right.
So, a
So
Frisky.
much for the Frisky.
So much for the Frisky. Anyway, oh boy, here we go. So, in the just came in from the our trailer parked on
Yeah.
Walnut and Front is Kayla in search of
All right.
classic cars
You bet.
with Zen, all the way from Montana. How you doing, Kayla?
Good. How about you guys?
We're doing
great.
I'm doing fantabulous out there. So what's new in the world of classic cars with Zen? I know this week we were talking about the 1967 Pontiac Catalina, which is one gigantic automobile. Have you ever parked one of those?
Well, we had to take it off the flatbed and park it. That counts.
Okay. Well, you know, back then it was like my father always taught me it's like when you're parking a car, you got to use the post to bring it in.
The window post?
Yes.
That was
and
your
that was
marker.
your guide.
Yeah.
And then you could swing it in and park it. But it takes a lot, and I think I would have to re-educate myself
Oh, I think so.
on how to drive one of these gigantic
I
cars.
think so.
So
Well, tell us about the car.
yeah, Nick's going to be showing us some photos. So while you're talking, so go ahead, kid.
Well, I bought it at an estate sale. The family was moving out, and the owner of the car had passed away, and it was sitting under a tree for, I want to say since 86.
Oh,
That's a long time.
yeah.
That's
It's
a long time. Yeah.
It's actually in pretty decent shape for sitting under pine trees, because usually when you buy an old car that's been sitting under trees, it rusts quicker
Oh.
because it will snow, rain, but then the sun can't get to it
Can't
to dry
get to it,
out
yeah.
the
Oh,
moisture
never thought about that.
fast enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is
So,
this a running and driving car?
No, the engine is in the car and hasn't been touched. It's the original 400.
Oh, it's a nice engine.
It's a nice, very nice engine. I am actually getting ready to go to a swap meet, and that is one of the cars I will be taking to the swap meet with me.
So we're selling it. So for our audience on Facebook Live and YouTube, I found the original brochure for the 67 Catalina.
Yeah.
And when we're done with the photos, then we're going to show the video as what it looks like now. So if there's young children in the audience, you may want to take them into another room.
Because I was telling Joe, really, that car was great to double date it. I mean, you had a lot of big room in the front seat, and you had a lot of room in the back seat. You could eat popcorn and hot dogs and have a big old time. You probably never double dated in a car like that, had you, Kayla?
No, I have never double dated, period.
Boy, you missed out on a lot.
Well, you know,
my generation is kind of boring.
Well, see, Kayla's generation is cars. You have to think about this now.
Yeah.
Cars with bucket seats.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a mid-size compact.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this Catalina, you could easily, as we used to say in the old days, it's like, we're going to Florida today. And that was it. I mean,
and you could pack the whole house in the trunk.
The whole thing, you know, and then put grandma in the trunk.
Yep.
Okay, for your radio audience listeners,
all right.
we're only Josh.
So visualize this, the outdoor movie, and your Pontiac Catalina four-door. You put that thing up on the ramp. You put the little speaker in the window. A lot of people have never been to a drive-in, I guess. Little speaker in the window. You got popcorn. Boy, I tell you what, you could have a party in the back seat.
It'd be great.
That's my bucket list now.
Okay.
And do you have any? Now, here's a question, because it's like we're from the age, you know, drive-ins were all over the place.
Yeah.
Here in Wilmington, there were several large drive-in theaters. Is there anything left in Montana that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. Actually, when I just moved up here, I think I moved up here like 7 years ago. That year I moved up here, they just tore down the last drive-in theater.
Boy, that's terrible.
See, it's like with the Pontiac, you could actually put a change of address with the United States Post Office, and you could live at the drive-in, you know? I mean, you'll have so much room, and that was the thing. It's like you're sitting on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Nick, can we start playing that video? Okay, I'm sorry. Gets so touchy. But anyway.
Tell us, what color is this car?
It was blue at one time. Now it's rust blue.
Yeah, that's just like my uncle. See, he had
was rusty. He was rusty.
No, it was rusty. It was
and you're dusty.
It was a brand new Pontiac Catalina.
Yeah.
It was a deep blue 4-door. And boy, that was a real luxury car. The wide track Pontiac, that's what Joe and I were talking about. That's how they advertise with a big 400 engine. Doesn't get any better than that.
Well, that was a very popular color. And then Kayla, she loves 4 doors.
Yep.
And we always bump heads on that. And it's like, I like 2, she likes 4. It was that standard metallic blue that General Motors had back in the day.
Yeah, it was a great color.
You know, my dad had a 59 Pontiac Catalina, but it was a lighter blue. And I always remember him, and we're driving, and he says, Peppy, he says, this is called a wide track Pontiac. And it was the brochures.
Yeah.
It was the brochures. Kayla, I hope you're taking notes on this. It was the brochure that sold him, because General Motors basically came down and told the artist to exaggerate the length and the width.
The width of the car?
And this is before truth of advertising. So this car looks gigantic. And when you look at it, it's...
Well, you got to remember back then, in that year, Pontiac was still the performance division of General Motors.
Right.
And so you had the big engine. Even if you had a 4-door, it's like, oh, boy, he's got a big machine. And Joe and I were talking about when the wide track promotion started, and I thought 63. He said it was
59.
59. Yeah.
59.
Yeah. So that was right in the era of the performance Pontiac cars. And if you had one, everybody kind of looked askance at you when you pulled up to a stoplight, even if you had a four-door, because they didn't know what you had under the hood.
So, Kayla, now that we finished blabbering and
Yes.
we're hogging up her spot,
Yeah.
So what attracted you to this car? It's like, during the week, it's like you'll send me something you like, and then I'll send you something that I like, and we talk about it. But what drew you to this car? Because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. I like Pontiacs. My grandfather owns a '69 Pontiac Le Mans, so I was like, I want a Pontiac of my own. Of course, now I'm kind of like, I have a lot of cars, so kind of want to thin the herd a little bit. But also the patina. So there's a big following for patina, and since it's kind of got blue, that pretty blue, and has a little bit the rust brown, I think it has some pretty interesting patina that you usually don't see.
Okay.
So the fact that it was a Pontiac, the fact that the patina was unusual, wasn't all the way corroded, and the price, I got it for really cheap, so. And the engine was still in it. So that was it is plus all the way up.
Well, it certainly is a classic car. You couldn't have gone wrong there. And it's got the big engine, so it's pretty desirable.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's the way the classic car industry is changing. It's now patina's in.
Yes.
Where 10 years ago no way, nobody would want it. So to me, a car like this is like, if you're looking for a car to start, a good starter car.
That's right.
And to work on it.
Yep.
And I've seen patina work where they just clean it up.
Yep.
And then they put a coating on it.
Yes.
And it looks great. But I mean, this is, it's like the furniture. You get the furniture that has all the cracks.
It's called
and
the stressed look.
Stressed look, I'm so stressed. But so this is what's in.
But here'd be a great starter car for a younger person that wanted to get a classic car, certainly got a wonderful name and a wonderful history on the car, and to be able to clean it up, as you said, and change the oil and get it running, and take it to car shows. You have a heck of a lot of fun. And all these old guys come up, so I remember that car. Yeah, and all of a sudden, you're making new friends, and you got great stories.
And that's what every car has a story is all about.
Yeah.
So Kayla, thank you so much for being on. It was a pleasure.
Nice talking to you guys.
And so do you know what's going to be coming up for next week? What we're going to be talking about?
We are going to go back and go ahead and start talk about the '56 Mercury, because I will also be going to the swap meet looking for parts for that car. And swap meet, for me, that's the only place I've been able to find parts for that car, because that car is very unusual.
Yes.
Right.
So I'll also be taking pictures and videos of the swap meet to send to you guys.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. We love swap meets.
And the thing is that it's you don't meet people from Montana every day, and to how the car culture is out by you. It's I remember when I went out to the Intermountain Concours Elegance out in Salt Lake City in 2011, it was all different types of cars that they didn't have out on the East Coast.
Oh.
So, Kayla shows me this Merc that she has, and then she has a buddy in Georgia that has a Merc, correct, Kayla?
Yes.
Okay. And so you don't see those Mercuries anymore.
Not the 56s, and we'll talk more in detail, but that's also a very interesting car. So I can't wait to talk about that one.
And that. So, if anybody has any questions for Kayla, please, text me on Facebook. Send me a rock through the window. No, don't do that. But anyway, and I know Kayla will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, because you know what? This is what the car culture is about. Young or old.
Absolutely.
Great
hobby.
So Kayla, in search of classic cars with Zen. We should have like an echo chamber or something.
That sounds good.
That'd be good. Thank you. I thought of that myself. Anyway, thank you, Kayla, and we'll see you.
Welcome.
We'll see you next week. Have a great time, you and Fred out there in the car show land, right? No, swap meet land.
Yeah,
swap meet land.
Montana swap meet.
I'm just losing my words today. Anyway, so Kayla, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay,
Talk
kid,
to you
thank
next
you.
week. Hey, let's talk about
Papa Shine.
our new sponsor, Papa Shine, Royal Blue Max, Royal Blue Wax. Got to get this. Now, listen, I put this on my wife's car, and it goes on. Listen, she's pretty picky. It goes on wet, and then right behind it with a smooth cloth, these fiber cloth. What do they call it?
Yeah, fiber. Yeah,
Yeah.
fiber.
Right behind it, you wipe it off, so it doesn't dry. It doesn't dry hard. It doesn't dry streaky. It just goes on and goes off. Bang, bang. And you can do an average size car, probably in about 15, 20 minutes tops. You won't even be breathing hard. And then after you put the Royal Blue on, then once a week, you use the Papa Shine spray. Now, the Papa Shine spray has carnauba wax in it, so it's a real wax. A lot of these other sprays you buy at the automotive parts stores, by the way, they have a lot of fillers, have a lot of oil. So all you're doing is creating a buildup on your finish that you're going to have to wash off during labor. That's all natural. Carnauba wax, got no oil in it. That stuff is so great. It'll clean your eyeglasses. We talked about that. It'll clean stainless steel. It'll clean jewelry. And if you have
How about the dishwasher? We have a stainless steel.
I wouldn't put it in the dish. Well, you
no,
could
no,
do the
not
door.
in the dishwasher.
No, it'll do the front. And I tell you, I put it on my my marble countertop. Came out with a beautiful shine.
See, I think next week, if you can grab a piece of metal from the store,
I will
do an actual
we'll
demo.
Do that. Yeah, we'll polish one of my signet rings here. We'll do that with the blue, and then we'll polish it up with the spray. How about that? We'll do that. Now we've got a car show coming up called Rims on the River here in Wilmington this coming Saturday, and Joe and I are going to be out doing some demos with the product to show people how great it is. What do you think about that, Joe?
It's going to be a lot of fun. So. If you see us, I'll be wearing my Panama, and Dusty will be
wearing my baseball hat, and you can get Papa Shine Wax right now at Manifest Design, 6075 Market Common in Myrtle Beach. And Manifest has got all kinds of neat stuff. It's got Cobras, got propellers, got airplanes, got designer furniture, it's got North Carolina furniture. It's a vacation for your eyes. When you go in there, ask for Connie. 910-515-1333. I tell you what, it's an incredible store. What do you think, Joe, of that store? It's got Joe's artwork in it.
My artwork's there. I'm all over the place. I'm around the world, and it's one thing about Every Car Has a Story. We meet so many great people.
Yes.
And I'm thinking it's like, okay, we had 75 shows, and you figure the average is 2 people. So that's a lot of car people on there.
And great car people.
And we got a lot more car people, and it's and I like to say special thanks to Ken Vella for lending his tonsils for the beginning of our show. And of course, Ken.
I love it when he says Dusty.
And then of course he's good friends with Fireball.
One of our other good
automotive car designer, did the Batmobile.
Yep.
And then let's see, who else there? Oh, you know what? I got to say, we're going to have this author on, and he's an old Connecticut car pal of mine, Mark Mizracola, and he's writing a book called Great Grills of the 50s.
Oh, yeah. Those are, well, Joe, you're an artist. So that is one of the defining images of an automobile is the grill. And there's some incredible grills that were designed out there.
Absolutely.
Just amazing. Wonderful. Great story.
And so I can't wait to see him. And now his co-author lives in Charlotte, which is like 5 hours away from Wilmington. So too bad he lives so far away, because it'd be great to have him here.
It would be.
We'll have to have Mark on at a future date. So we got 1 minute left. How about
I want to give you the telephone number for Papa Shine. Obviously, we told you where to get it in Myrtle Beach, but give Greg a call at 615-207-9354. He can hook you up with the product and tell him that Dusty and Joe sent you. They're in Nashville, Tennessee. And very quickly, we don't want to forget our good friend Eddie's Hot Rod and Collision, 910-833-5473. 5009 Carolina Beach Road. Now, Eddie, I understand, is under the weather, so I want to send out our best wishes to Eddie that he gets better. But I'll tell you what, that guy makes the most beautiful paint jobs and body work I have ever seen.
Makes you want to cry.
It does.
So for our Facebook Live and YouTube audience, we have C. Mathy's video from his museum down in Georgia. So this is JoepeP.
And Dusty.
And you're listening to Every Car Has a Story.
I've always liked old vehicles. I mean, old men like things that bring them back to the memories of their younger days, you know. I'm Bobby Harrelson. This pickup was purchased in the fall of 1955 by my father-in-law. After he passed away, it was of interest to me to get this truck and restore it. A pickup, when I was a boy in the country, was a pretty special thing. It was a tool that farmers had. You know, you didn't play around with the pickups. The boys didn't jack them up and do all the things that they do with them now. It was a tool to haul your goods to the market. And it just brings back, you know, my memory of being raised on a farm, and I have very fond memories of that. Bob and Jennifer had been longtime friends, and I had seen how they took care of everything. And Jennifer talked to me if I ever wanted to get rid of it, she'd like to have it. And because of the way they took care of their things, when I finally decided, I said, you know, the best thing I can do is to get it into somebody's hands who really cares for it and will take care of it, and I couldn't be prouder.
I'm Bob Lancaster.
I'm Jennifer Lancaster, and I'm the owner of a 1956 Chevy truck. We collect antique cars, and Bob had a Model A in the collection already, but I really like trucks, and so we wanted to give it a good home.
I was sitting in the goody house one morning looking at the paper and saw Model A for sale and decided I would go look at it. Wound up buying it. Didn't know anything about Model A's, but then I started meeting people that had those kinds of cars. A lot of those guys were World War II veterans, and a lot of them have passed away now, but that was a wealth of knowledge, and I like the camaraderie with those guys and talking about the war and the cars and what they did when they were young fellas, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
We try to have a collection that's a little diverse. It's not typical of what you see in most car collections. We try to have things that are unique or different than what you would normally see at a regular car show.
Hey, I'm Sean Mathis. This is Miles Through Time Automotive Museum. We opened the museum up with one car, which is my grandpa's 1959 Cadillac Coupe de Ville you can see here. And I stayed up all night detailing this car the first night I got it. I took it to my first car show the very next day. Ultimately, I got thinking and I was like, how else can I utilize this car? Because I felt so fortunate enough to have it. Miles Through Time Automotive Museum I describe as a co-op living museum. Everything inside this museum belongs to different people. You've got cars where they're family heirlooms, they don't want to sell the car, and they don't have anywhere to put it. So they store it here, and people get to enjoy it. Average is about 45 minutes to about an hour, depending on how much you're really into reading and learning everything there is to see here in the museum. The oldest car we have in here is a 1910 Sears, and the rarest is a 1911 Brush, and both of those were in one guy's basement just here in town that nobody knew he had, and he absolutely loves coming in here and talking to people about his cars.
I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Toccoa. A lot of history here that reflects not only Toccoa but our region in Northeast Georgia. And today there are 5 of my father's cars here. Carl Smith, who grew up in Toccoa.
Here in Toccoa, there's so many things to see in this small little town that you could make a day trip out of it, and it'll be worth the trip.
We've had a lot of events over the summer. For example, Tesla came out and brought a Model X. We had large groups of people come up from Atlanta and the surrounding areas, even from Florida, share their love of cars and the history that we are protecting and sharing with everybody. Every year in June, we have our annual car show where we have hundreds of cars show up.
So it's really a community thing for people to all be able to get involved, between the new generation that comes here and sits on the floor and watches the display case spin with little cars, all the way up to the 90-year-old man that has his birthday party in here and remembers the past. That's what it's all about.
listening to part 2 of Every Car Has a Story. Hi, I'm JoepeP, and with me is my trusty sidekick, Captain Dusty, who knows the inner workings of the radio system of the 1967 Pontiac Catalina.
Yeah.
I had to say.
Yeah, and we were just talking during the break that we've got a Corvette show, big Corvette show coming up in Myrtle Beach in the 1st of June, and I think Joe and I will be there with one of the Corvettes, and we'll do some demos on Papa Shine. What do you think?
I have to go get my passport validated to
get
go
out
over
of state.
the,
Yeah, so we want to
South Carolina.
Point that out to kind of give you a heads up. You can meet these wonderful radio personalities personally.
Wonderful, marvelous. Oh, wait a minute. Here, for our Facebook audience and YouTube, I'll wear my glasses. Please, no autographs, please. You, with the camera close-up. I want 8x10 glasses. Thank you very much. So anyway, now we got part 2. We got Uncle Jesse. He'll be calling in very shortly from Schwab's Pharmacy in Hollywood, California. And then right after that, we have Angela Babla from Angel's Garage, which is going to be beginning on NBC SM, which is really exciting.
Yes.
Because it just shows you, kids, hard work pays off. Nobody's going to come knocking on the door and just give it to you. And you know what? Angela's going to tell that story.
And it's a great
wait.
car story.
You know, it's very, very good. And so, you know, you have a dream. It just takes a lot of hard work to do it, you know.
It's a passion. You've got to find your passion in life. You find that passion, you're going to be successful.
That's right. And, you know, that's what makes, again, our show great. Because every person that works with a car, if it's, you know, a female race car driver to a guy that works under the hood,
yep,
there's all these different stories. You know, if it's our buddy Kayla out in Montana who looks for these cars, and she sees the finished product, whereas others see it as...
you've got to have a vision, and I think that's part of the car collector experience, is that you see an antique car and you have a vision for that car,
right?
And that vision can be multifaceted. That's the one. It's as Joe says, it's like a blank canvas, right, Joe?
Yes.
I mean, you start with the frame. That's the car. And then you start filling in the details.
When I saw, for some reason in 1974, I got this thing. I wanted to restore an old car. I had no idea what it was. My dad was a mailman.
Mm-hmm.
Mom was a stay-at-home housewife.
Yeah.
Nobody in our family was in the auto business. And I didn't know how much work was involved to restoring, how you should do it correctly.
But you know, you still go to your happy place when you're working on them. Even if you kind of new at it, even if you make a little change in the car, you're in your happy place.
You're in your, you know, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
That's right. And that's, listen, part of this life is be able to find a happy place. So many tough things going on. It's a very special place for you.
Yeah, it's a place where, you know, you work on, like tonight, I'll be at the AACA Cape Fear picnic.
Oh, great.
So there's going to be a lot of happy people.
Oh, there will be.
So, you know, a lot of happy cars.
Yeah.
And speaking of happy cars, we have Uncle Jesse's on from Schwab's Pharmacy. Jesse, don't forget, you ordered that tuna club. So, you know, last time you forgot about it and ordered another sandwich. So how are you today?
Hey, fellas, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Oh,
we're top of the world.
We're excited. We're very excited. We're very excited for you guys.
Yes, indeed.
With Angel's Garage, and
I am too.
And you know, the thing is that you work hard, and now the wonderful thing is, it's like when you put that quarter in the slot machine in Atlantic City,
and
it's like bing, 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 and you're going.
You close your eyes, right?
Oh, it's great! It's great, you know. So
that is exciting.
So, was there anything new that you did this week on Angel's Garage there, Jess?
Well, the folks are doing a lot of things. They're wrapping up with the car to turn it into a police car.
Yeah.
And get everything lined up for our choreographed scene of car chase.
That'll be fun. I wish I could have been there, or when they do that, because it's the behind the scenes, and you just think it's just two people sitting behind two different cars, but I mean all the people that it takes to produce something like this, and reminds me of the days when I worked in advertising, and you had buddies that were photographers, and that was as close as I ever got. But I mean, there's a lot of work to produce something like.
So, Jess, are you going to be in the car chase?
Yeah.
Are you?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be there somewhere along the line.
Maybe you'll be directing it. They got a director chair for you and your little puppy.
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
I do have a director's chair with my name on it, and so does my pup, Mindy. She has her
Mindy.
own chair.
Yeah, Mindy's going to be there, so we got to get pictures of that. We put it on our Facebook.
You will.
Oh, good.
Hey, Jesse,
Yes,
maybe Dusty and I can get chairs, but just put a radio on the chair.
Oh, well, I was going to put a beer bottle there, but maybe you don't
That'll
drink
work.
beer.
Or
And for Dusty, I was going to put a teacup or something.
A teacup.
Well, Jesse, Frank Sinatra, he used to have a chair, and on the back of the chair, it didn't say his name; it just said "The Voice." So we could have that, the voice,
Yes, we could.
Well, we're excited. I can't wait to hear the siren. What's the siren going to sound like?
Is it going to sound like a modern day siren or the old school?
Which one?
I don't know. They haven't, tested it or anything. I don't know.
It's got to work.
No idea.
Jesse, you got to
have work. Yeah.
You got to have the old school siren, like if you're stepping on a cat's tail, or like a tomcat on Halloween, Oh my!
Hey,
thank you, Nick. That was good. That was interesting there. But moving right along there. So before you go, any words of wisdom you want to tell our listening audience?
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Sure. Yeah. Be sure and take your umbrella if it's raining. If it's not, just enjoy the rain.
Enjoy the rain, and that's talking from somebody in California. Yeah. Which I understand it's raining out by you guys today. Is that correct?
It is. It really is. I tell you, it's weird out here, but I love it. I really like it.
Isn't that why they call it Holly Weird, right?
Hey.
Stepping on toes. Well, Jesse Wild, thank you so much. And if you guys ever want to produce a show here in Wilmington, we got Scream Gym Studios here in Wilmington, North Carolina. We could set the whole lot for you, So Jesse Wild, thanks so much. We'll be talking to you next week, and tell you
we'll get an update on the
happy trails.
Get an update on the car chase. That'd be exciting.
So
yes, I will.
I just saw a message from Angela. It's like I'm waiting. She's like she's waiting in the dressing room, but she doesn't realize we can only take one phone call at a time. And for our radio audience. This is going to be nice because you're going to hear about hard work paying off after many years, and that's what you want to hear.
Absolutely. I love success stories, but they always start out with hard work and passion.
Right, and the thing is like just because you work hard at something doesn't mean you're actually going to get there, and I can attest to that. But the great thing is that. Angela and her husband Mark, they've had this business. They were out in Michigan at one time.
Right,
yeah. And they were restoring cars, but they do a lot of good, with the work that they do.
Absolutely.
And, donating a car to a charity for children.
Yes.
That's tops. I think they, when I first met Angela, they just finished I think it was a Mustang, a 69 Mustang.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lot of money, and all that went to the charity, and that's the great thing about it, Car people are the best people and kindest people in the world. So Nick just flicked his fingers and he says that Angela's on the phone. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Angela Babla, star of Angel's Garage. Welcome aboard again.
Hey, Joe and Dusty, how are you?
Oh, we're great. We're having a great time today.
So, Angela, Was the trailer, the cyber trailer that we sent you, everything all set? You know, with your cyber donuts and coffee. So we want all our guests to be comfortable, because it's like when you have a call-in car talk show, it's going to be far and few between when we have a guest come in. So thank you so much again for coming on. I think let's see, you've done when we were on radio and now Facebook Live. So I think this is like the third time you're on. So welcome again.
I appreciate it. I really do. I'm actually standing out here. We're on a gloomy day in California, which is great. And we are actually getting this budget bill done. We were challenged to do a budget bill for like $5,000. And as we had told you before, the car had been sitting in the desert for 3 years. And we're just now finishing up. It took a little bit longer because there was so much damage to the car, and then electrical was messed up, and the rubber was so dry rotted.
Oh,
so
I bet. Everything.
Yeah.
So something like that, it's like with Kayla, it's like they got the elements. It's all 4 seasons. Being with you guys, it's like a car's in an oven. So like if you were doing an engine, would that have to be totally torn down and rebuilt again?
Well, with this budget, we were going as far as the engine would let us go, and if we seen a problem, we would open it up, the thermostat housing, the timing chain, the water pump, and it was just sitting out there. It was really, really bad. So we had took the $5,000 and we applied it to paint. We applied it to the metal.
Yeah.
We applied it to the rubber, which was through Rubber and Steel. I love that company. Great product, and they're made here. Actually, they're made right around the corner from you.
Well, if you want to name the product, go ahead. I mean, it's other part. Yeah.
So it's like we used the money wisely, and we're finally almost done. But as in life, everything, you never know. You can say, hey, Tuesday will be done, but it'd be Tuesday 2 weeks from now.
Right.
But you didn't expect that. And so we're actually getting Kayla to do a quarter car for this car. So that's actually really cool.
Excellent. And then that will be what? Will that be given to the person that purchases the automobile?
Yep. We're gonna do that with every car. We're gonna have Kayla do one, and this will be our first one. So we're really excited about it.
Nice. I like that. I like that. So Angela, so you've worked very hard. You and Mark have worked very, very hard to get where you're at, and so I would like for you to tell our audience, you have a dream, but things to expect while you want to pursue this dream. So I would say it's like, what made you guys want to do a show? Oh, we lost her. Okay, I'm sorry.
We had kind of a bad connection. Maybe we'll get a little better connection when she calls back in, because my understanding was that they were doing cars in Michigan, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And they had a dream, and they moved to California. We'll have to get the details. Yeah, in the desert. Just a amazing story. So we'll get her back on the line and find out the rest of it. But they do these beautiful cars, and they give them to charity, or they do something very special with them, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching on NBC.
And the thing is, it's all true, as Angela would say. It's all true reality, and you see these shows. It's like where they're building something, and within a week, the car's done. Well, that doesn't happen.
It never happens that way.
Doesn't
ever.
No, it doesn't. But it's like.
And they always have a big fight too. Why is it? Somebody starts fighting, and then they stop and say, "Let's go roller skating."
or they're at miniature golf. It's like, really?
I never understood that. What's going on back at the garage? Because the car's got to be ready in 15 minutes. Let's go roller skating.
Let's go roller skating. It's like, or you have some guy he's a comic book collector. Oh, let's fly out to the New York Comic Con and we'll spend 3 days in Manhattan.
I think we got the format for those shows, pretty well down. I think we could probably do one of those, Joe. What do you think?
Wow.
But Angel's Garage is not like that at all.
No, and I met Angela a year ago, June, and we just started talking, and it was just a small. She was on a small cable network out in California, Southern California, and they were producing these shows, and it was like I instantly had a rapport with her, and I said, well, why don't we do something where we can have you on for 5 minutes, and then you can tell the audience what's happening. And then this is why we have Uncle Jesse on. It got to a point where Angela was getting way too busy doing the
shows.
The shows, and then work to bring an income in. And then we had Uncle Jesse on, and having a great rapport with her.
Yeah, and Uncle Jesse is quite a movie character. He's done a lot of different things. He is.
He's a great
guy. He's a great guy. Just a lot of fun. Well, listen, do we have time for another Stump Joe question? We're waiting. No, we don't have time. I got a good one for you.
We're starting to run out of time there.
Are we?
But so I don't know I just blew that one there. I was going to say, who was it? Was it a man or a woman that thought of having a line down the middle of the road?
That's a really good question. Yeah. I'm going to be the contrarian and say it was a woman.
It was a woman.
Why?
It was a woman.
Well, it had to be. You know, women think out of both sides of their heads. Guys are very linear. The guy sees a highway and says, I'm going down the road. A woman looks at the highway and said, there needs to be a line down the center.
Well, they were where this, I can't remember the name of the woman, but I'll have it for you next week.
Yeah.
And Angela's back on. Okay, Angela.
Oh my gosh. You know, I may run a DA sander or something like that, but I cannot work this phone. My ear, it's so sensitive. Put it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And disconnected us. I'm like so sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. It was kind of broken up before. We can hear you, Lima Charlie, loud and clear now.
So anyway, Angela.
Oh, this is good.
We have until let's see, your time would be 10:53 Pacific or 1:53 Eastern Standard. So Angela, in a nutshell, Reader Digest condensed form, the ups and downs of doing a show, and then getting
ups and downs.
Yep.
Here's the ups and downs. Ups and downs are, it's just Mark and I, and then getting the show. It's like dealing with the networks. You have to learn what they want and what they don't want, and what they do like, which is a different option, you know, and it works. And we waited and waited and waited until we wanted something that was different and real. You know, I love all the shows that are on. I mean, I like some of them really, really good. But there's this side that wants to see, you know, the real parts, you know, the real problems that come in that, there's a deadline, and if you don't make it, you know, here's what happens. And if this part isn't right. And it was a challenge to get that on TV because, you know, if you got a sponsor that has parts that they send you and you are being honest about it and it's a crappy part, even though they didn't make it, they don't want you to say it. And sometimes we need some realism in here so that people understand what it is. It's not in 30 minutes. There comes a rusted car and boom, you know, there's a lot of problems that are with this and it's real. And I just think that with the networks we were working and the realism is finally starting to pay off because people want to see what's real and you know, how much it is. You know, I watched one show the other day, and it was like they did dang near a whole remake on a car, and when it was done, they said, well, how much is the bill? And they said $4,500, and I'm like, paint and body work for what I just saw was $4,500, and it's like, so when somebody comes to your shop, they're looking at, I want my car redone that's been sitting in, you know, a swamp, and for $4,500, and it's like there needs to be more realism to keep this industry going.
Yeah, and the real
that's what Mark and I believe.
The real car lover, the real people that appreciate cars, that's what they want to see. They want to see the realism. They don't want to see the staff fighting. We were talking about that, and then they have a deadline, and then they all of a sudden you see them out roller skating or playing golf or something. We don't want to. We don't want to see. We want to see what the real issues are and putting these cars back together.
You know, or somebody has an attitude. You know, and then you have a guy with the big beard and it gets caught in the timing belt, and you know, and then you got to talk to the plastic surgeon. I hate when that
I do too.
So, Angela,
it does, and that's what we're priding ourselves on was keeping it real because and that's what took so long to get it going, is because, we had the couple offers where if we did it this way and that way, and it's still, that would take away from what it is.
Yes.
And what it is, it's a hard industry, and
It is.
it's difficult, but it's fun, it's rewarding, but it's also, I have no problem with asking other people, hey, how did you get this done? Or say, interact with people. And I just think that the more realism that we get out there, the better the industry will be, because when they see a shiny new car and they were told that, hey, the suspension needed to be redone, then they'll understand that, oh, suspension needs to be done, then this is X, Y, and Z, so this is how much, versus, again, under $5,000, you're doing an entire restoration. It's just impossible.
So, Angela, are you allowed to say when the viewers will be able to see this on?
I get to say that in at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
We get to see Jesse before that because we're going in to make the decision.
Got it.
And we've been picking up new people along the way to join the family, and we appreciate. And again, when you see a banner on our show, we're not getting the products free like a lot of the shows. We're still paying for them products, but what we're doing is we're being honest with them products.
Good. I
and
like
so
that
that's
as well.
what it's all about. Yeah,
like
and
that
that's
as well.
right. And that's what we had to fight for, because again, in TV, the sponsors run a lot, because if I'm sitting here sponsoring something and you go on and say, well, this is a crappy part,
Right.
you might
lose
get a
your
little butt
sponsor.
hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So it was, and that's what it's all about. It's going back to the news back in the 60s when there wasn't advertising. We'll just put it that way.
Wow.
It's more real
Yeah.
and
Very
less,
exciting.
So you'll be the first to know. And as we're doing the opening, we got a surprise for you and Dusty. So we're really excited. And again, it's all about the small, everybody that's trying to do something and scratch that surface, and everybody can do it. And so we appreciate being a part of.
Well, we're
your
excited.
wonderful,
We're excited. We
wonderful
can't
show.
wait to see it.
And
we can't wait to show it.
Are you allowed to say who your new sponsor is? Maybe
I can say that O'Reilly's is on board. I can say that we have Steel and Rubber on board, ACC Carpets on board, Classic to Custom Fabrication is on board. And so it's really, really good, and it's really positive. And again, it's all going to be real. So when you see a rusty problem, it's not in 2 minutes. It's boom, all good. So
well,
we're going to share all that with everybody, and hope that everybody will.
Well, we have a new
enjoy.
sponsor called Papa Shine, which is an
Papa
incredible.
Shine, I
it's
saw
great.
that.
Yeah, we'll send you some, and you can put it on. You'll love it too. So we'll get some exposure there as well. It'd be great. We'll get it out to you.
I saw that. It was like, that's really. I saw the video you had out there, and that's really an interesting product. So
It's
definitely.
really nice. Well, Angela Babla, again, 1,000 thank yous for being on our show. And I know our audience and
10,000 to
listeners will look forward to when we hear the final announcement as to when the show will be on the air. And I know that Jesse will be talking about new things about production.
Yeah.
And, how he sat on a cactus and the whole thing. So anyway, Angela, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you real soon. I know that for a fact. So,
and without a doubt. And thank you to everybody, and have a great, great weekend, everybody.
Great weekend. So Nick tells us we have a minute. So we're going to be wrapping this up. Next week, I believe, we have Johnny Martinez, famed pinstriper and artist. He'll
that'd be
on
great. I
Southern
got an email not too long ago from one of our good friends. He said, who is the best pinstriper you know? And Joe got right on it. And he was incredibly happy.
Yep,
Yeah.
North Carolina lad.
Yep.
So anyway, this is Joe Pep.
And Dusty.
And you're listening to Every Car Has a Story. Happy motoring this weekend, everybody. See you next week.